Good morning, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for Saturday, July 23rd, 2016, around 7:48 in the morning, Belleville, Massachusetts. Going to be another sunny day out, hot again and humid, but dry, so in mid-90s. Put on your sunscreen and check up on the elderly, and please do not leave your pets in your vehicle for any amount of time in this heat wave. Please don't do it. Some news to report. The Minnesota Twins beat the Boston Red Sox by a score of 2-1 last night, and Mahogany Valley beat Lowell Spinners, doubling up on them 14-7, and Hillary Clinton has named her running mate. It is Virginia Senator Tim Kaine. So Democrat National Convention starts Monday. I thought Hillary was going to pick Elizabeth Warren, the senior senator from Massachusetts, but it wasn't in the cards. And that's about it on the news. My first video blog subject of the day is about the top 10 sports teams that should have won more championships. These were potential dynasties that never was meant to be. And here they are. Number 10 on this list of the top 10 sports teams that should have won more titles. Calgary Flames. They won the Stanley Cup in 1989. They won 3 straight Smythe Division championships, 1988, 1989, and 1990. Had a great team with Lanny McDonald, Theo Fleury, Gary Suter, Mike Vernon in gold, and several other great players. But the problem was they were in the same division as the Edmonton Oilers, and the Edmonton Oilers dominated them in playoff series. The Flames should have won more championships than the one in 1989. Number 9 on this list of the top 10 greatest sports teams that should have won more championships, the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks won the NBA title in 1971. They having Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Oscar Robertson. Even though Oscar Robertson was on the downside of his career, he was still an effective player. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was in his second year in the league. This was the third year that the Milwaukee Bucks were in existence, and they won a championship, which was pretty good for them. They should have won 2 or 3 more championships, but they were in the Western Conference at the time, and the Lakers were still one of the most dominating teams in that era, and they didn't get past the Lakers in subsequently years. Number 8 on this list of the top 10 sports teams that should have won more championships, the St. Louis Cardinals, 1982, which was led by Whitey Herzog as manager. They had Willie McGee, Ozzie Smith, Bruce Sutter at pitching, Joaquin Andujar. They beat Milwaukee Brewers in 7 games in the 1982 World Series. They should have won the 1985 World Series against the Kansas City Royals, but a lone call in Game 6 of the 1985 World Series was awful for them. In 1987, they could have won that World Series. So they only won one World Series with Whitey Herzog as manager. They should have won at least 1 more and possibly a third. Number 7 on this list of the top 10 sports teams that should have won more championships, the Boston Bruins, 2001, winning the Stanley Cup with Tim Thomas. Tim Thomas was an out-of-this-world goaltender during the Stanley Cup playoffs in 2011. Plus, they had Patrice Bergeron, Zdeno Chara, Milan Lucic, Nathan Horton, Brad Marchand, and a lot of other role players. They made it back to the Stanley Cup Finals in 2013 with Tuukka Rask as goaltender, and they gave the Blackhawks a run for their money, but the Blackhawks won in 6 games. They've had the best record. They had the best record in the NHL in 2014, but could not get past the Montreal Canadiens in the second round. And the Boston Bruins have not been the same since. In my humble opinion, the Bruins should have won maybe 1 or 2 more Stanley Cups. But it wasn't meant to be, and they're in a major rebuilding process now. Number 6 on this list of the top 10 greatest sports teams that should have won more championships. The St. Louis Rams in 1999. They won the Super Bowl 34 over the Tennessee Titans. They were the greatest show on turf. Kurt Warner, which was a heartwarming story. He was like in the Arena Football League and have a part-time job stocking shelves at a supermarket. He becomes a great quarterback, 2-time MVP. They also had Marshall Faulk and a lot of other great players. And they faced the New England Patriots in the 2000 Super Bowl 36. The Patriots won that Super Bowl, but it could have easily been the Rams. They could have won maybe 3 straight Super Bowls because they had an awesome team. That's a dynasty that never was meant to be. Number 5 on this list of the greatest sports teams that should have won more championships, the Dallas Stars. 1999, they won the Stanley Cup. 6 games with the Buffalo Sabres, with that call that should have been disallowed, but they won it anyway. The Dallas Stars had great defensive players like Sergei Zubov and Darren Thatcher, and also they had great offense. Mike Modano, Brett Hall, a lot of other players. They got Ed Belfour as goaltender in 1998, and he led them to Stanley Cup win in 1999. They could have won in 2000, and also the Stars could have won it a couple of years earlier because they were building up a great team, but they ran into the Detroit Red Wings in 1998, and the Detroit took care of them. Number 4 on this list of the greatest sports teams that should have won the more world championships instead of 1 is the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics team of 2008 with the new big 3 of Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce. They won 66 games in the regular season, and they beat the Los Angeles Lakers in the 2008 NBA Finals to win the 17th championship after 22 long seasons. They were gelling together. Also, Rondo Raja was becoming on of his own. Plus, they had a lot of great role players. They were on their way to a 2nd straight NBA championship before Kevin Garnett gets hurt in halfway through the 2008-2009 regular season, and that's what probably, derailed the championship. They could have been a dynasty because they made it back to the NBA Finals in 2010, and they could not hold a lead against the LA Lakers in Game 7, so we could have been talking about back-to-back championships for the new big 3, but only 1. Number 3 on this list of the top 10 sports teams that should have had more titles, the Chicago Bears in 1985. The Chicago Bears had an awesome defense. The defense was probably one of the best in NFL history. They went 15-1 in the regular season. They had Jim McMahon as quarterback, and they had a lot of great players on defense, including William the Refrigerator Perry, and they crushed the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 20 by the score of 46-10. They could have, with that defense, they could have been the next big NFL dynasty, but it never happened. The Bears made it back to the playoffs several times, but they got knocked out in subsequent years to the eventual Super Bowl champions. Number 2 on this list of the greatest sports teams that should have won more championships, the 1986 New York Mets. The Mets won the World Series that year against the Boston Red Sox. Their starting pitching staff was one of the best. Dwight Gooden, Ron Darling, Sid Fernandez, Bobby Ojeda. they finished with Cy Young votes, which is unbelievable. And also, they had great offense with Gary Carter, Howard Johnson, Ray Knight, Keith Hernandez, Milky Wilson, and others. But it was, and also Darryl Strawberry leading the offense. It's kind of a little bit of a tragic story that Dwight Gooden and Darryl Strawberry had demons, and their demons affected the Mets in trying to become a dynasty. It's just such a shame. And number one on this list of the greatest sports teams that should have won more world championships, the Atlanta Braves. They won the World Series in 1995 with a great pitching staff, with John Smoltz and Greg Maddux and Tommy Glavine. Plus, they had great offense with Chipper Jones and Fred McGriff and Dave Justice. They beat the Cleveland Indians in 6 games to win the 1995 World Series. They made the World Series 4 other times in the 1990s, but they could not get over the hump. 1991, they could have won that World Series against the Twins. 1996, they had the Yankees on the ropes, 2-0, winning the first 2 games at Yankee Stadium, but the Yankees won 4 straight. And 1999, they got swept out of the World Series by the Yankees. In 1992, they lost 6 games to the Toronto Blue Jays. And that's about it on this list. Hope you enjoyed this list. If you want comments, shoot me a line. 2 more video blogs coming today. One will be about the former ESPN Classic show Cheap Seats, which was hosted by twin brothers Randy and Jason Schuyler. And the third and final video blog of the night, the last video blog personality profile of the month, will be about WWE Hall of Famer Bobby the Brain Heenan, also known as the Weasel. Like I always say, keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Guy. Molly Rosenblatt of WCCO rocks and has nice legs. Elizabeth Hart, so stunning, she's the best. Amy Sweezy of Wish 2 rocks, and she's so awesome. She's awesome, Amy. Linda Church of WPIX Channel 11 in New York is such a cougar, and of course she's got nice legs. And Barbara Gibb of ABC 11 of Raleigh, North Carolina, has a sweet southern accent. And in the words of the 16-time World Heavyweight Champion and WWE Hall of Fame and Nature Boy Ric Flair, to beat a man, you gotta beat the man. Woo! See you later.